Episode 1, The Last Call. The forest was silent, save for the rustling of leaves and the faint buzz of a ranger's radio. Ranger David Hale, seasoned and steady, had seen his share of odd things in the sprawling wilderness of Pine Barrow National Park. But nothing prepared him for what he would hear that cold October night. Earlier that morning, search crews had found the body of Evan Reese, a 27-year-old hiker reported missing 3 days prior. He was discovered at the bottom of a ravine, his body battered, his phone shattered, and his backpack torn as if by claws, not rocks. The coroner pronounced him dead at 10:37 a.m. But at 1:12 a.m. that night, David's ranger station phone rang. The caller ID read, Evan Reese. David froze, the silence between rings stretching like a scream. He answered. A garbled voice came through. Static crackled. Then, Evan's voice, panicked and breathless. Hello? Please, someone's following me. I can't run anymore. David sat bolt upright, gripping the receiver. Evan? Where are you? The call fizzled, then returned. Evan's whisper was close, almost inside the phone. It doesn't want me to leave. In the background, David could hear something else. Whispers. Low, chanting tones. Almost words, but not quite human. Then, silence. David replayed the audio 5 times that night. Each time, the static seemed louder. More intelligent. Like it was listening back. He reported the call, but dispatch dismissed it as a technical error. Evan's phone had no signal. And no battery left. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the Watcher of Pine Barrow, a forest spirit that mimicked the voices of the dead to lure others in. The next day, David walked the trail near where Evan was found. In the dirt, under pine needles, he found fresh footprints. A single set, barefoot. They led away from the trail, and deeper into the woods. He followed them for a few yards, until he found another broken phone, its screen glowing faintly. No number. Just one message blinking. It's your turn. Episode 2, The Voicemail That Shouldn't Exist. 3 days had passed since Evan Reese's body was recovered from the ravine in Pine Barrow. His best friend, Logan Marsh, hadn't slept since. They'd grown up together, camped those very woods dozens of times. Evan was careful, experienced. This wasn't supposed to happen. Logan sat alone in his apartment, flipping through old photos of their last hike when his phone buzzed. One new voicemail. From Evan's number. His blood ran cold. He hesitated, then hit play. The message was muffled, distorted, like it had been recorded from inside a tunnel, or underwater. Static pulsed like a heartbeat. And then, Evan's voice came through, fragmented but unmistakable. Logan, listen, not alone, follow, the split, cedar. 200 yards, black rock, dig. Then, a piercing tone. And silence. Logan sat frozen, eyes wide. The call was time-stamped just 10 minutes ago. He grabbed his gear and headed out, back to Pine Barrow. Hours later, he reached the split cedar tree Evan had described. He'd seen it before, but never thought twice about it. He followed the directions carefully. 200 yards. A flat, black rock. It was there. Digging through the dirt beneath it, Logan's fingers struck something solid. A buried backpack. Weathered. Blood-stained. Inside, he found a cracked phone. He powered it on, and the lock screen flashed a photo. Not Evan. A woman, pale, wide-eyed, with a look of sheer terror. Her name was Kayla Dorsey. Reported missing from the same forest, 6 years ago. As Logan stared at the screen, the device buzzed in his hand. A notification appeared. New voicemail. This time, it wasn't Evan's voice. It was Kayla's. Crying. Whispering. Repeating one line over and over. "He won't let us go, he won't let us go." Then came the glitch, a brief flash of Logan's own face reflected on the phone screen, only his eyes were black. Empty. The voicemail deleted itself. The screen went dark. And from behind him, in the trees, something moved. Episode 3, The Shadow Trail. A week after Evan Reese's death, Ranger David Hale returned to the forest, not because he had to, but because something was pulling him back. The phone call, the voicemail, they weren't isolated. They were part of something older. Something buried deep beneath Pine Barrow's soil. He retraced Evan's last known path, boots crunching through the brittle underbrush. The woods were quieter than usual, too quiet. Even the birds seemed to avoid this place now. That's when he noticed it. A tree, about 20 feet off the main trail, bore a deep carving, a spiral with a vertical slash through the center. It wasn't a park marker. David had never seen it before. As he stepped closer, a faint wind stirred, though the air had been still seconds earlier. He kept walking, and more carvings began to appear, each one different. Circles with teeth. Inverted triangles. I like glyphs. They weren't random. They formed a path that branched off into dense, uncharted forest. Locals had whispered about something like this. The Shadow Trail. A hidden route that only appears to those marked by loss, or touched by the forest. As David followed the eerie path, flashes of Evan's last moments flickered in his mind. He saw Evan running. Out of breath. Glancing behind him. Whispering something. "It's behind me." David blinked, shaken. It felt less like memory, and more like the forest was showing him. Hours passed, though time felt warped. Every tree looked the same. Every sound, distant, like an echo. He should have turned back, but his feet kept moving. Then he saw it, an ancient stone marker buried in moss. At its base, the ground was blackened, scorched as if lightning had struck there long ago. The carvings on the stone matched the ones on the trees, only more elaborate. Beneath the moss, faint words were scratched. "Those who follow never leave." Suddenly, the forest seemed to lean inward. Shadows grew longer, darker. David turned, but the trail behind him was gone. The woods had shifted. He wasn't alone anymore. And somewhere nearby, hidden between trees and silence, something watched, waiting for him to take the final step. Episode 4, The Forest Doesn't Forget. Ranger David Hale hadn't slept in days. Not truly. Every time he closed his eyes, the same dream returned. The forest. Fog curling through the trees. The sky gray, unmoving. And there, just ahead, Evan Reese, pale and trembling, whispering the same desperate plea. "Help me. I'm still here." David would run toward him, but the ground would turn soft, like mud, pulling him under. Evan would vanish into the mist. Every night. The same dream. Over and over. Only, it wasn't just a dream anymore. During the day, David began hearing whispers. In his cabin. In the trees. In the static of his radio. Faint, broken words repeating fragments of that nightly loop. One day, the message changed. He feeds on the lost. Shaken, David sought out a local psychic, Marla Quinn, known for her connection to spirits trapped in liminal places. She didn't need convincing. The moment she stepped into his cabin, she froze. "This place is marked. You're not being haunted, you're being warned." She set up an EVP recorder and began a session. Her voice trembled as she called out. "Evan, are you still here?" Silence, then a sharp burst of static. Words emerged, disjointed, but clear enough to chill the air. "He sees me, not dead, not alive, make him stop." Suddenly, the lights flickered. David's breath caught. Marla clutched her pendant. He's not alone. There's something else, older, watching. That night, David dreamed again, but this time, he didn't wake up. He wandered the dream forest for what felt like hours. The trees were wrong, taller than they should be, leaning inward like sentinels. Whispers followed him. Shapes moved between the trunks, always just out of reach. And then he saw it. A massive shadow, hunched and shifting, feeding on a twisted figure that looked like Evan, caught in a loop of terror, running and falling, running and falling. Forever. David screamed, and the shadow turned. Eyes like hollow pits. Mouth stretching too wide. He woke up choking. Scratched into the wood of his nightstand were the words. "You're next." The forest didn't forget. And it didn't forgive. Episode 5, The Call Came From Below. The nightmares hadn't stopped. Ranger David Hale knew he was being drawn somewhere, beneath the trees, into the silence. It wasn't just Evan reaching out now. Something deeper was pulling. At dawn, David hiked to Evan Reese's last known location, just beyond the ravine where his body had been found. The forest felt heavier there. Still. Like it was waiting. While scanning the area, David's foot caught on something buried beneath the leaves, a rusted metal grate. He cleared the brush to reveal a narrow shaft leading underground. An old survey tunnel, long abandoned, and never listed on park records. He descended with a headlamp and rope, the air thick and damp. The light barely pierced the darkness. The tunnel twisted unnaturally, deeper than it should have gone. Walls closed in tight. Every breath echoed. At the end of the passage, David found a small cavern. Inside, a broken camping lantern, a torn sleeping bag, and a tripod-mounted camcorder. The red light blinked, it was still recording. Hands trembling, David hit playback. On screen, Evan, pale and hollow-eyed, crouched in the cave. "If you're watching this. I didn't die up there. I died here. Something brought me back. But it's not me anymore." The video glitched. Evan looked directly into the lens. His eyes changed, black, empty sockets, no longer human. "He copies you. He becomes you. And he wants out." David staggered back, breath ragged. Then, a noise behind him. A footstep. Slow. Deliberate. He turned, but the tunnel was empty. Or so he thought. A voice whispered from the dark. "David, it's me. I found a way back." It was Evan's voice. Exactly the way he sounded in the voicemail. Only. Evan was dead. David backed toward the exit, heart hammering, but the path had shifted. The tunnel was longer now. The walls felt closer. The light flickered. As he sprinted through the darkness, the voice followed him, first behind, then beside, then inside his head. When David finally burst back into daylight, he collapsed to the forest floor, gasping for air. His camera was gone. But something came out with him. And that night, a voicemail was sent, from David's number, to someone new. "Help me. I'm still here."